And welcome back to Courtside Convo, another episode today. My guest is Bobby Desmond from Cardinal Accountants. We're going to talk about the business of law firms today and what it takes to get one off the ground, and then kind of best practices to run that business effectively and efficiently. And of course, Bobby's a tax expert as well. Bobby, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So let's start with this. If somebody's looking to hang their own shingle and go on their own, what do they need to do? What's the first step?
So, the first step is to get an LLC or some sort of corporation in place. You want to have a structure, you want to have an entity that you can operate out of, and you want to keep in mind of the operating expenses that you are going to incur, some overhead that you might not think of as being an employee. So when you go out on your own, you're going to need some office space. So you need to budget for rent, you need to budget for employees, you need to budget for wages, utilities, software, all of these expenses and overhead that you need to budget for and plan for before you go out on your own.
So when I've set up companies before, you do like nonprofits and stuff like that, when you have to file the form and do the, annual renewal of the form, one of the things I've never understood is LLC, S-Corp, like what's the differences? Why would you set up one versus another?
So you can form an LLC. If you are the only person on that LLC, the structure becomes a single member LLC, which is a disregarded entity. So the company information goes on your personal tax return. The problem with that is that gets subject and hit with self-employment tax, which is 15.3%. To avoid that, what we can do is we can convert you to an S-Corp. And the S-Corp now removes that from your personal return. It gets its own separate tax return, and you avoid a 15.3% self-employment tax.
Okay. So talk to me about this thing called IOLTA, which I just learned stands for Interest on Lawyers' Tax Accounts, Trust Accounts.
Correct.
What does it mean, and why is it important?
So as an attorney, you have to have a separate bank account, which is a trust account. And what goes into that account is settlement, escrow, other monies that are not collectible that need to be kind of held in an escrow. And the bar is very strict on how that account is managed and reconciled. And if it is not reconciled to the penny, you as an attorney can be disbarred. They take it very, very seriously. So it's very important to stay on top of that and make sure that it is managed and reconciled perfectly.
And that's because, that's other people's money, essentially.
Correct.
Right, that you're holding on to for a particular purpose temporarily.
Correct.
Right. So what are some of the most common tax deductions that lawyers should know about that maybe the general public wouldn't?
So for attorneys, there's nothing that's specifically special for them. But one of the greatest tax deductions is depreciation. And with the Big Beautiful Bill, they brought back bonus depreciation for vehicles that are over 6,000 pounds. So if an attorney drives an SUV...
That's why they're all driving Cybertrucks.
That's why they're all, yeah. That's right. So yeah, you get a Cybertruck, you put your logo on the side, you get bonus depreciation. So that Cybertruck was $100,000, you get $100,000 depreciation. So if you had $100,000 profit, now your profit goes down to zero and you don't pay any tax. So it's a beautiful thing that the IRS allows, and it's something that attorneys can definitely take advantage of.
Gotcha. Okay. So how should a firm or a solo practitioner, structure the company to maximize their tax savings?
So as we mentioned before, I think an S-Corp is the best structure because, like I said, if you, again, are a single member LLC, you're going to get hit with that self-employment tax, which is unnecessary. So you can have the LLC in your name, but most attorneys want to have like a PA. But you form the entity, we convert it to an S-Corp, and that's the best way to have your company structured tax-wise.
And what part of that structure helps them protect themselves? Like, how does that? Why does that matter in terms of protecting yourself?
Well, you're protecting yourself because you are creating separation from yourself personally. So if God forbid anything were to happen, or if you were involved in a lawsuit, you have your entity that is now subject to that, not you personally. And then from a tax standpoint, if you need to send your tax return somewhere, it doesn't have all your on there. You can just send the business tax return for a loan or something like that. So it gives you some privacy in that sense too.
So I've set up my firm or my, solo prac, whatever it's going to be. We're having a tremendous year. We're making a lot of money. What should I have been doing throughout the year to set myself up rather than calling you in a panic at the end of the year, like, oh, we made too much money, or how do we fix this?
Right. So what we do at my firm is we do bookkeeping for our clients every month. So every month our clients are getting financial statements that show their profit and loss and their balance sheet, and we're keeping an eye on that net income. And as we get into Q4, that's what we do some tax planning. So throughout the year, we're keeping an eye on that. As it starts to grow, as it starts to accumulate, we're going to say, hey, let's think about this, let's think about that. We'll come up with some plans to get that number down, save our clients money, and then do it before the year is over, before it's too late.
Yeah. So what are some of the pitfalls and the the horror stories that you've seen where people do come to you a little bit too late? How hard is it to dig out from under that?
So we have people that try doing their own bookkeeping or don't do any bookkeeping at all. They're just running their business. They're just looking at their bank account. They have no idea. And then they come to us, after the year is over. Hey, can you do our tax return? And now we're crunching the numbers all in one shot. And we're like, hey, you have this huge profit. And now they're like, oh, I didn't realize that. And it's too late. So the people that are smart, they hire a firm like ours. We do it every month. They know exactly how their business is performing. And then we can, take care of them before it's too late and the year is over.
So somebody's watching this and they're thinking, kind of sounds like me. What do they need to do? What's the first step?
You could call us or call your local accounting firm. Tell them this is what I have going on. This is my business. Get monthly bookkeeping done. Stay on top of your numbers. Make sure that you're getting tax advice, and just really be entrenched in your numbers and make sure that every deduction that is possible is being taken. If you don't know, you can reach out to us, reach out to your CPA, say, hey, can I write this off? Can I write that off? Because sometimes there's things that you can write off that people are not aware of.
Yeah. So Bobby, people are in law firms and there's all kinds of titles for attorneys, partners, shareholders, all these different things. What do those things actually mean inside the business as to how the money that comes into the firm gets distributed to the, either employees or partners?
So yeah, once you start adding more partners, it becomes a little bit more complex. In that scenario, it would be most beneficial to have an actual partnership. So it's the same tax structure as an S-Corp, but it's just a partnership. So it's still a flow-through entity. The corporation itself is not taxed. It still flows through the partners. But it's a way that we can kind of separate each partner, and there's a way to differentiate the clients and the income that each partner is bringing in, because they want to say, okay, you're responsible for X amount, you're responsible for this amount, and we can separate that and track that. And at the end of the year, it's reviewed, it's discussed. Did you meet your performance goals? Did you not? We get involved in that. Providing those financial reports. So it's a great tool for attorneys that have multiple partners to have it to use.
Yeah. So if you are in a situation where you do have partners, they need somebody like you that could turn into a real mess if somebody professional is not, in charge
you want to
of
have
preparing those reports.
A third party, because, you want to have somebody outside that's saying, okay, yes, this is truly what happened, because it could cause some conflict if one partner is kind of in charge of that and others are not so much involved.
All right. I have a feeling that may have happened a time or two.
Maybe, yeah.
In the history of law firms.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So every time we have smart people on, they say stuff, and I need to ask them questions because I don't understand what they're saying. What's a flow-through entity? You mentioned that. What does that mean?
So a flow-through entity is an entity that is not taxed itself. So whatever that business makes as far as income, it flows through to the owners and the partners. So you avoid double taxation. So a C Corp would be subject to double taxation, where you're getting taxed at the corporate level and the individual level, which obviously you don't want, but in some situations you have to have. An S Corp and a partnership is a flow-through entity, means the income or the loss flows through to the partners and the entity itself is not taxed.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So if somebody wants to get in touch with you, with Bobby at Cardinal Accountants, how do they do that?
Yes, you can go to our website. Website is cardinalaccountants.com. You can call us. Our number is 561-391-4848. Our number and emails on our website as well. So we have social media, Facebook and Instagram as well. We post some funny stuff. Well, we try to be funny. Right. Some accounting humor, but but yeah, that'd be the best way to reach us.
All right. Bobby, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been really informative. If any attorneys, are sitting there going, I sound like I can need Bobby's help, get in touch with him. I've known him for a long time. He's an expert. He can help you. That's it for this episode of Courtside Convo. We'll see you next time.
If you'd like to appear on Courtside Convo, send us an email or visit us at legalgraphicworks.com. Look for new episodes every Thursday on the Legal Graphic Works YouTube channel, and don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss a show. Thanks for watching.